All right, all right, all right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
What's going on, John?
Greetings, greetings, everybody. All right, we've got some more folks coming in. From Paris, Mr. Grant Ennis. How are you, sir?
Hey, John. Happy birthday. Hey,
Hey, thank you
everybody.
very much. Thank you very much. And greetings to everybody out there who is viewing this live on the live stream here on YouTube in the YouTube world. Really appreciate you guys doing this. Man, this is going to be super fun because I've got so many fun faces coming in. Around the horn, starting with Mark. Why don't you quickly introduce yourself?
Me? Okay. My name is Mark, aka Bicycle Dutch, from the Netherlands, and I try to show what we're doing in the Netherlands because I would love for the whole world to have what we have. That's the short answer.
I like it. The short and sweet. That's fantastic. All right, Yos is coming into the house too. I'm going to pull you in, Yos. There you go. I love that
Hey.
hat. Look at that
Happy
hat.
birthday, John. I found a cat.
I love the retro hat. That's
Birthday
fantastic.
cat.
That is great. Fantastic. And we've got Mr. Preston Tyree coming in as well. Hey, Preston. Good to
How you
see
doing,
you.
John?
Fantastic. Just Yos's camera here as we get everybody set up and ready to go. We've got Natalia coming in. Fantastic. And Mr. Victor Dover. Victor, you're going to be our last slot here. Fantastic. We have no more open chairs at this point. Hey, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in.
Our pleasure to be here for
Great
you,
to be
John.
here.
Yeah. I really appreciate it. We were just doing some quick introductions, so let's go around the horn again. Mark, you were introducing yourself. Billy, go ahead and take it from there, and then we'll do Chris and Melissa next. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to pull up our live streaming chat just to make sure I'm monitoring the chat as well.
Sure. Hi, I'm Dr. Billy Fields from Texas State Universities, and I study resilient communities and how to get people out and be more active. And I love jumping on with John. It's great.
Thank you. Next.
You go first.
Okay. Chris and Melissa Butler dialing in just down the street from Mark in Delft in the Netherlands. And yeah, we're a couple of mobility advocates, authors, professionals. I myself work for the Dutch Cycling Embassy. Yeah, you want to take it from there?
Sure. I have worked in a lot of places, but now for the last year I've been on the independent mobility, helping people find good narratives around human infrastructure and making cities better for everyone. And it's always nice to be here with John. And we often say he's one of the reasons, he's one of the people that's at fault for finding us in this situation as well.
Well, you have to explain yourself now.
When we got back from the Netherlands, our first trip in 2016, John was the instigator to connect us with Island Press that turned us into authors and then eventually had us move to the Netherlands. So anyone in North America who wants to blame us for leaving, blame John.
You guys did all the hard work. Fantastic. Jordan, I'm going to have you introduce yourself next, but I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's tuning in out there online right now. How many folks do we have? We got 24, 25 folks out there watching right now. Wouter from the Netherlands, Becca way up in Yellowknife, Wilford Jansen, thank you so much for doing that. Blacklighter, always tuning in. Thank you so much. As well. Dima, also from way up. I think you are up in Scotland now. Is that Edinburgh, right? And Darcy, thank you so much for tuning in. Peter Norton, also a published art author. Mark Kramer, CompuArt. Bike About, Megan Ramey, thank you so much. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Okay, Jordan, real quick, who the heck are you?
All right. Hey, John. It's good to be here with everybody. Hopefully my signal's coming in good enough. My power's out right now, so I'm got my fingers crossed on my laptop battery right now. So I'm Jordan Clark. I live in Dallas, just up the road from John. I am a sustainability director at a architecture and planning company here in Austin, and yeah, just generally trying to make the place I live a little bit more pleasant. So good to see you. Good to see everybody. Thanks for having me on, John.
You are quite welcome. Grant, you're next.
Hey, everybody. John, great to be here for your birthday to celebrate with you and with all of our friends on here. I think I saw many of you at Velocity, so it's nice to be reunited once again. I'm Grant Ennis. I'm the author of the book Dark PR, which talks about the way that corporate disinformation undermines our efforts to create active towns, essentially. Great to be here with you all.
Thank you very much. And I think you may have mentioned this. You're dialing in from Paris, right?
Dialing in from Paris. That's right.
I love it. Okay, Yos, you're up.
Hi, everybody, and happy birthday, John. Great to be here.
Thank you.
My name is Jos Vlijsmans. I'm the director of the International Cargo Bike Festival, and that's all for me. That's also a way to make cities better places to be when all the city logistics takes place by cargo bike. And well, it's been really great to be on the show several times and to have you in Nijmegen as well, John. And yeah, it's always a pleasure to see what all the things you're doing and the good work that's going on. It's really good.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. And just up the road here in Austin, Texas, Mr. Preston Tyree. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Preston.
Hey, John. Happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
You know, I've been riding bikes for over 70 years now, and we of course I've got a call coming in, right? We will send that to voicemail. You and I have been riding in lots of different places over the time we've known each other, and I knew you back in Hawaii.
That's right.
And it's been a great run.
Yeah, it sure has.
I'm gonna kick off, so you've got room for some other people. Have some other people get in, and I will just go online and watch the live stream.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate it. Okay, Dr. Natalia Barber, Central Florida. Yes, go ahead, Natalia.
Yes, happy birthday from Orlando. Wishing you many, many more wonderful cycle rides. And so glad to be here and seeing so many familiar faces. So hello to everyone, my new and old friends. And I'll also be relieving this seat for someone else, but just wanted to say a quick happy birthday and great to see you.
Thank you. All right, Victor, you're up.
John, I'm going to just say,
okay.
Sorry. I'm just quick. I have to keep making dinner.
Okay, you
Happy
go keep
birthday.
making.
Nice to see
you keep
everyone.
making dinner. Yeah, we're going to have some other fun stuff going on, but Chris will scooch over a little bit and keep your seat warm. All right, Victor, go ahead.
Hey, happy birthday, Iron Man. You know, you and I have had some epic rides together, and I think some of them were epic because of how long they were, or because of the cool places that we rode together.
Yeah.
Some of them were epic because they were places where a little bike riding is all it takes to indict the existing conditions. And but all of them were epic because of our conversations. You know, we managed to keep a pace that allowed us to talk while we were riding along. And thank you for that. I knew you were just going easy on me, but that made it possible to have some great conversations. So always learning a lot from you, John. Happy to be a part of Active Towns.
Thank you very much, and thank you to all of you for tuning in, both here on camera as well as out online right now. I'm going to switch us over to this little view here because not only is it my 60th birthday, but it's also my 5-year anniversary here on YouTube. In all intents and purposes, I didn't get super focused on YouTube until I interviewed a person by the name of Jason Slaughter with Not Just Bikes and watched my channel just take off. And so I have Jason Slaughter to thank for a lot of the traction that I've had. So as you can see here, we've got 505 videos out there on the channel, over 285 podcast episodes. The reason why it says over 285 is because there's a couple of bonus episodes out there as well. Kathy Tuttle just tuned in from Utrecht. Hello, Kathy. And for folks who want to join in, and you have the guest link, you see that we have 3 seats open, so if you want to pop in, that's great. I just checked this morning, 1.5 million views of the videos out on the channel. I think on the traditional podcast episodes, the audio only, we're looking at somewhere along the lines of right about 200,000 uploads. It's really hard to tell exactly how many listens on traditional audio only podcasts, but just in case you were wondering. And also to that point, there was about 100 or so episodes of the podcast that were just audio only. So yeah, that's kind of a cool thing. Subscribers right now, we just eclipsed the 11,000 mark, which is super cool. I'm glad to have that have happened. It was really cool. We had Ashton Schottler, Schottler, who gave me a tour in Freiburg, Germany, and her whole crew came over. A lot of folks from fans of her work. She's got an amazing YouTube channel in Type Ashton. And so she bumped me up by, I would say probably about 100 of those 11,146 was probably due to her and the 2 videos that I just produced with her. And as you can see, revenue, that is not per year, folks. That's literally my total revenue on YouTube for all time. So those of you who are wondering whether, we're making a killing out here on YouTube, and I see Mark nodding his head knowingly.
I hear you. It's the same here.
Yeah, you do not get rich doing this, but I am having the blast. I am having the time of my life, and I really do appreciate it. We've got other folks who are chiming in out on the text. Preston is now switched over to just kind of watching, so he's out there. I can see that he just left a message. Hey there, buddy. Really great to see you. I'm going to see Preston soon because we're going to be filming some little mini documentary stuff on his neighborhood, the neighborhood of Mueller, which used to be our airport and is now a very walkable and bikeable place. Hey, Jacob Bax tuning in, Allocated Brain tuning in, Dave Edwards. Dave says hi to you, Jordan, as well. And Dave has been on the channel.
Up, Dave?
Yeah, he and Ariane were out there riding on the streets of Amsterdam. Hey, Oh the Urbanity just tuned in. Thank you so much, Oh the Urbanity. You have been with me since the very beginning, and one of my all-time favorite episodes was with Jasmine and Patrick. Thank you guys so very, very much. So this is kind of fun to be able to do this, but in addition to, just kind of looking at the stats, I just have to give a huge, huge thank you to all of you who are tuning in right now, all of you who are on camera right now. I simply could not do any of this without somebody saying, yeah, I'd be willing to come on camera and talk with you. It was easier in the early days when I was audio only because they'd be like, oh, podcast, not a problem. Then it's like, oh, you want me on camera too? and Victor just chimed in on the chat as well. Hey, Vicky Stubbs tuning in from Boulder, Colorado, and Bruce as well. Thank you very much. Vicky and Bruce are one of my longest all-time friends from way back in the 1990s there in Boulder, and they are huge supporters of Active Towns. They are my homestay whenever I am in Boulder. Thank you both so very, very much. And again, Peter Norton just said, yeah, every view and listens helps us have more active towns. I hope that is the case for sure. I'm going to switch us back over to this view real quick. Again, we do have 4 extra slots right now, so if anybody wants to pop on in and you have that link, just go ahead and do so. I'm going to make one more kind of announcement of what I'm up to, and then I want to kind of turn this over to you guys and get some idea from you as to what's going on in your worlds. And so let's do that. And Jordan's right back again. So I'm going to put this this little graphic up because this is my big announcement. This is what I'm doing this summer. I'm going to be jumping on the rails and traveling around. So I'm fundraising right now. If you guys know of anybody who can, help support me, it's huge. But yeah, on June 4th, I'm gonna get on the train here in Austin. I'm going to make my way all the way to Providence, Rhode Island, to attend the CNU conference and also the Strong Towns National Gathering, and really just try to do what I can to spread the word as I go along as well. And yay, we got Kathy coming in. Hey, Kathy, I'm going to bring you in right there. Kathy Tuttle from Utrecht. Good to see you, Kathy.
Hi.
And so this is the plan for this summer. I'm going to be traveling around via Amtrak with my Brompton, really trying to duplicate what I did when I was hanging out at Kathy's apartment there in Utrecht this past summer. I spent a good 3 weeks hanging out at her place and then getting on the train and traveling all around Europe, documenting what cities are doing that we can learn from and aspire to. So that's super good. We also have Doug Gordon tuning in as well. So I'm going to just pause and ask if you guys have any questions about this little journey. I'm going to be vlogging along the way, as well as stopping along the way in various cities to do on-bike interviews. So I'm already working with the first stop of 2 days in Chicago, trying to get some interviews lined up. I'll also be stopping off in Pittsburgh, hopefully hooking up with Scott Bricker there, doing an on-bike interview as well, and then making my way to the conference. Then after that, I'm actually going to be hellying, helle means move quickly in Hawaiian. I'm going to be leaving Providence on my way to Boulder, Colorado to deliver a keynote address on June 18th. Thank you very much, Darcy Kitching, for helping arrange that and get that moving forward. So super excited about that. Any questions about this? And then we'll have Kathy and Doug introduce yourselves after that. So real quick, any questions?
John, is the Brompton coming with you?
Yes, Brompton is the key feature for sure. So it's the Amtrak and Brompton, which, by the way, it's a fantastic combination where you can be able to just fold that thing up, tuck it away. At least in Europe, I had to have it covered in most cases, especially on the ICE trains. You needed to have it covered so it looked like luggage and not a bike. But it would just tuck into the luggage area there. On Amtrak, it's going to be similar type of situation. I haven't decided whether I'm bringing my case that I use for checking luggage in. Jacob just asked how long the journey is going to be to get to Providence. It's a good question because I am stopping off and delaying in a couple different cities. But as an example, going from Providence to all the way to Denver is just under 50 hours, 50 hours. It's ridiculous how long it takes. So now, granted, the distances are great, but at the same time, it's there. Hey, I'm also getting a happy birthday greeting from my cousin, Cody. Thank you very much, Cody. I will see you very, very soon. And any other questions about this crazy idea that I have to travel around North America on in this manner?
Is this also Canada, North America, or just the US?
I haven't decided if I'm going into Canada. That's a great question, Mark. Certainly North America includes Canada, and it's not a state yet, nor will it ever be.
Exactly.
Nor will it ever be. But I'm just trying to figure out how to get to some key dates, and it'll be just in the United States. But I could totally see me popping up into Canada and taking advantage of their rail network, which is slightly different. Sometimes they do work in hand on some of the routes. Yeah, great question. Any other questions on that?
How long is this going to be? All of June, maybe?
Yeah, that particular one is going to be a pretty extensive trip in June, and then I've got another one planned in July. But yeah, this is pretty much my 2 to 3 months off of producing the podcast is going to be out, on the rails, so to speak. I almost said on the road, but really it's on the rails. And then once I get to the cities and get off, then I'm on my Brompton, popping around, doing stuff.
Hey, John, not so much.
That you can already mention.
I'm sorry. Go, Mark. You go ahead. Then Billy. Then Grant. Yeah.
Could you mention some of the cities already? You say Providence, Chicago,
Pittsburgh, Denver, Boulder, and then in the summer trip, it'll be this. I'll take some of the western route and then make it into Sacramento for sure. I'm going to be there for my mom's 80th birthday, and then and many different stops along the way. So yeah, the cities to be determined, yet to be determined. Yeah. And Other Urbanity just said they'd be happy to show me around Montreal. Yes, that would be great. I love Montreal so much. Did a fantastic alleyways tour in Montreal, which was a lot of fun. That's great. And then Dave Edwards says, come to Toronto. Yeah, I'm due back in Toronto. Grant, you had a quick question. What did you want?
Just a comment or idea. As you're traveling around all these really, really interesting places, I'd love to see like a montage of the photos of the train stations, of how they used to look and then how they look today.
Ooh, yeah. That's great. And just out of curiosity, I don't know if you saw, I produced a video the other day of me just going to get my hair cut and coming back, and by doing so, I went past our Amtrak station, and I was like, it's so ugly. It's just like so plain. And so I wondered what it looked like. So I actually superimposed a video or a photo still shot of the old historic train station in Austin. And of course it wasn't that one. So yeah, we've lost so many beautiful historic buildings, which used to be our train stations. It was so wonderful to see Denver do their Union Station, and now it's a beautiful building, and just love being able to do that. So when I get to Denver on that June trip, going from Providence all the way to Denver, that's where I'll disembark on the train there at Union Station in Denver, then get on the Flatirons Flyer bus to get up to Boulder, Colorado. So okay, I'm going to have Kathy and Doug introduce yourselves, but first I want to make sure I'm not leaving any other questions about the trip hanging. Billy, did you have one too?
Oh, I just was going to say that I'm also going to be in Toronto and Montreal, so we should hook up on that if you ever make it up there this summer, late in July. So.
Yeah, definitely, and folks that are from Montreal and Toronto. If you don't already know Professor Billy Fields from Texas State University, definitely would love to coordinate connections if y'all would be open to that. Billy was one of my co-conspirators of traveling around parts of Houghton. Kylie Van Dam gave us a tour, as well as we were bopping around in Paris. And other good stuff.
Yeah, okay, we did Kathy, school streets in Paris. It was great.
That's
excellent.
Right. Yeah, with Mark Kramer, who's out on the in the chat, and Mark says, "Yeah, the railroad tour is a great idea. Trains are natural allies of people who are riding bikes, and absolutely. And Amtrak should be supporting you. Well, that would be nice. I'm just hoping for trains that run on time. I'm not going to be too demanding on that." Okay, Kathy, why don't you do a quick introduction?
Hi, everybody. I know most of the people on screen, but out in the wider audience, I'm Kathy Tuttle, and I live in Utrecht now. Yay, great city, greatest city on the planet, I think. But I just wanted to come on and say happy birthday to you, John, and you promised to get me more pictures of cargo bikes. I'm working on a cargo bike book, a cargo bike catalog. I'll be hitting all of you up for more photos. Chris has been really nice sharing photos with me too about cargo bikes, because I want to have a document about what cargo bikes are in the world right now and what they can be. And that is also something that I really deeply appreciate about your work, John, and all the documentarians on here. Not just bikes and Bicycle Dutch and the Dutch Cycling Embassy, all you guys are putting out a record. I mean, you have a record of what the state of biking and active transportation is in the world now. And it's going to be a record that stands for decades from now. A really important document that you're creating, a body of work. And I just wanted to thank you especially today, John, for the work that you're doing all over the world, capturing how people are using bicycles. It's really important. So thank you for your work.
Thank you, Kathy, and really appreciate all your support over the years. In addition to letting me crash at your place, but also helping out with donations to the nonprofit over the years, as well as supporting the Active Towns channel. And you've been on the channel a couple of times too. In fact, our last interview together on the channel, talking about a little bit about Dutch culture, is one of the best performing videos of the last year. So yeah, super appreciate your support. Okay, Doug, you're up, and happy birthday to you too.
Yeah, thanks for putting this together for my birthday. I really appreciate it. It's very nice of you. Happy birthday, John. And it's really great to see so many familiar faces and friends on this call, and a few people I recognize in the chat, friends as well. So it just, I think it just speaks volumes about what you've put together over the years, that there's just so many all-stars of this truly global movement, and people who are colleagues and friends. And I have shown up in, I think, every person's city and gotten a tour from Chris, from Mark many times, and vice versa. I just feel like anybody can drop into Brooklyn. And John, I feel like you are kind of the hub that brings a lot of us together. So thank you for doing that. And the dirty little secret of the war on cars is oftentimes you will get guests before we do. And I will watch your videos to see, what does this person like to talk about? And are there questions that John didn't get to? And usually the answer is no. Like, he covers everything so thoroughly that I sometimes wonder what's left for us. So I'm just very grateful to be part of this movement and this community, and thankful that I know you, John. So happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Well, that's very kind of you to say so. But that's probably because Doug, my interviews are so darn long.
But your output is so prolific. I feel like you really have been just keeping this going for so long, and you always find new ways to, find the people who are about the movement, but maybe not about the movement, which is what I find interesting about activism. So, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually play a little video here of me just kind of rolling along the old historic city that apparently I have relatives in, and I see that Amanda it might be trying to join. Amanda, if your camera's turned on, I can't see it, so I'm not sure if you need to actually watch on the live stream and not intending to be on camera. But if you do want to be on camera, see if you can work on that, and I'll bring you up to speed. But this is the old historic fortress city of Naarden. Kathy, am I getting the pronunciation on that right, or Mark? Naarden? Yeah. Thumbs up. Okay, very good. So apparently, I had family members that were from Naarden back in the 1600s. And so this is my first time ever visiting that. So I'm just putting this on in the background to buy time to see if you guys had other things that you wanted to talk about, and or any favorite videos, Active Towns content that you'd love me to pull up, and we can share that with the audience that's tuning in. So any updates? Anybody from the top of the horn going around? So Mark, let's start with you.
Well, what we see here is that Jason Slaughter's name is the best ever, not just bikes. It's not all about cycling infrastructure that makes the Netherlands so great, right? This is a 30 kilometers per hour zone, 18 miles per hour. So this is why things can be mixed sometimes, and also you don't see anyone. That's because there's no through traffic here. So yeah, that's what I see when I see these images.
Fantastic. Chris, we'll go around clockwise. What's new and exciting? I know you guys have new stuff.
Yeah, well, if you caught the announcement yesterday, we revealed, Melissa and I, the cover of our third book after saying we were done after 2 books. Well, I mean, not to get too deep into that project or that process, because that's maybe another conversation for the autumn when the book comes out. But just to reiterate what Melissa was saying in her introduction, like, we're still 6 years into this journey as now citizens of the Netherlands, pinching ourselves on a daily basis, getting to live and work here. And a lot of the kudos and the credits go back to our relationship, John. And when nobody wanted to read the book proposal of these 2 bike bloggers, you clearly believed in us and connected us with Island Press, and the rest is history. But this crazy journey that we're on, that a lot of people in this room have contributed to, either by letting us sleep on their couch or just out of the kindness of their heart, contribute in some way, shape, or form. We're all in these kind of surreal places where we get to do what we love and hopefully get some financial remuneration for that. So I think it's quite special, as Doug was saying, this global community that exists, and in a lot of ways, you are one of the hubs, and we are the spokes, and we all kind of work together to hopefully change cities and change the world in our subtle little ways.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. And again, I did the easy part. You guys did the hard part. Grant, anything new with you? What's up for this next year?
Nothing too new to announce. I'm rereading the J.S. Dean's Murder Most Foul. I don't know how any of y'all could do podcasts on authors who are long past, but I think if you could cover Murder Most Foul, I think it'd be quite a great one. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to reading Doug and Chris and Melissa's upcoming books.
Yeah, that's right. And Doug, I'm going to put you on the spot just for a quick update. We know that it looks like October for you as well. Is that when the new book is coming out?
Yeah, we have the book is coming out October 21st. We just submitted the copy edited version of our manuscript on Friday. So that was, as people who have written books know, when you get the copy edited manuscript back, you're not finished at that point. It's a lot of work. But it's been a really fun and rewarding journey to write the book. I will not reveal the cover or title just yet. If you're an internet sleuth, you can figure it out. But we're planning to release that in April with the website and all the rest. And then a tour is shaping up. We've got commitments from Houston, Atlanta. We're hoping to do like a big West Coast run, probably from either Vancouver or Seattle down, ending in LA, and then biting off another chunk of the country at some other time. So yeah, if you're in New York, week of October 21st, there'll be a big live show as well. So it should be a lot of fun. We're really excited to get the book out. The book pulls together, much in the way the podcast does, a lot of the work that we've highlighted on the show. But Chris and Melissa have a bunch of quotes in there that we pulled from our interviews with them. The trip to Kent that we made for Velocity, that features prominently in one chapter. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're really excited to kind of bring it all into one little neat package.
Sounds great. Now, Kathy, you had mentioned the cargo bike book, and you and I also were co-conspirators with the bike flip video when you were volunteering there. Any other updates on what you are up to here in 2025?
Well, I'm still volunteering with Bike Flip. In fact, I have 2 afternoons a week where I'm repairing bikes. It's one of the things that I actually use to get some distance from like thinking about the news. Repairing a bike, you just focus on the bike, and that makes me very happy. And Bike Flip has satellite rental or flip places in, I think, 6 different Dutch cities now. So it's really expanding. That's exciting. And I mean, the more I think about bikes, and the more I think about cargo bikes in particular, the more I just see the enormous potential for changing the world. And that really brings me hope. I mean, I think it's a time when we need a lot of hope, and I think bicycles offer it. I think, approaching the city the way that the Dutch do in providing for a bicycle culture is transformative for everyone. It builds community, it builds places, and I think that the work that you're doing and the work that everybody in this call is doing is so essential to getting out that message that bicycles allow you to have the freedom that cars promise, but just the freedom that people have, the potential for people to gather and get to know each other. So it's great. I really love being here in the Netherlands.
Yeah, yeah. And our good friend Brandon Lust there in Carmel, Indiana, made the comment that it'd be nice for me to make a stop off in Indianapolis when I'm on the Amtrak to be able to jump on the Brompton and ride from Indianapolis to Carmel, Indiana, which is only 15 miles. When I visited him a few years ago, that's what I did. It's a very easy ride on the beautiful Monon Trail. So, yeah, thank you for mentioning that to Brandon. That's definitely something I need to do. It won't be on that trip heading to Providence, though. I'm maintaining a northern route on that one. Jordan, you and I are going to be riding in just a couple days. You're going to come visit me here in Austin on Tuesday, and we're going to ride up to the Mueller neighborhood, and we're going to meet up with Preston Tyree, who was on camera earlier today. And we're going to actually look at things through your eyes, the lens that you look at these communities from a landscape architecture perspective and from a sustainability perspective. Anything else you'd like to add along those lines? And for those who don't know Jordan very well, he was one of my partners in crime on many bike tours back in 2022 in the Netherlands, as well as we did a side trip to Brussels, Belgium, to meet up with Jill Warren, the CEO of the ECF, the European Cyclist Federation. Jordan.
Yeah, well, I think we're way overdue for another video and catch up together, John. Yeah, well, I kind of enjoyed what Mark, in keeping with what Mark said earlier, not just bikes. I do have a trip upcoming, going back to Spain, Portugal and Spain, and not just bikes is the theme of this trip. So I'm going to be walking instead of traveling on bike this time. Last time it was 2 weeks on bike with you in the Netherlands and in Belgium, and this time it's 2 weeks on foot, heading up the Portuguese and Spanish coast on the Camino de Santiago. So I'm really looking forward to that. This is coming up in like 6 or 7 weeks. And other than that, looking forward to getting back on the bike in another little tour with you in Austin, and hopefully more after that. So
love it. Billy, what's up with you?
Yeah, this year I've been working on a special issue of Built Environment, where we look at resilient streets, and what I'm working on is advocacy coalitions. And I just hear, like, going around listening to all the different folks jumping on about how much advocacy coalitions have grown over time, and how each little bit of infrastructure that gets built and how much push it takes. And I did a case study of New Orleans where we looked at advocacy over a 20-year period of time. And I remember when I was sitting in a little room with 4 people and then watching that advocacy coalition grow, and then watching the infrastructure grow along with it. And to me, that story resonates in so many other different places. It takes so much push to make things happen. And after a decade or two of doing this, I thought it was time to kind of look at some history and put those pieces together. And then I'll be back in London and Amsterdam this summer with a study abroad trip. Every year I get to take Texas State students over and look at what's happening. And I always come back just filled with great ideas and wishing I could see more of them in my local communities.
Love it, love it. That's fantastic. And I'm smiling ear to ear too. Just having you all here, but also this image. It's literally, this was like a rainy day, and it was like tagging this on with another tour that I did earlier in the day that where I produced a video, and I was just happy as a clam to be riding around on my little Brompton in this wet environment, and just kind of reflecting back that at some point in time, some of my ancestors were tripping around many of these same streets. I'm sure they didn't look like this in the 1600s, obviously, but still pretty cool to have that sense of history. You might have noticed the overhead shot of the star pattern of the fortress. And Mark, you and I had the opportunity to look at some of the existing star structure there in Den Bosch. I know you have a bit of information and context on that too. Anything you'd like to share about the history of those fortress cities?
Well, there are a lot of fortress cities in the Netherlands, and Naarden is a great example, as is Heusden, quite close to Den Bosch. Den Bosch also still has the city walls. We now use them to keep the water out, so we can't really get rid of these old city walls because they now keep us dry.
Right.
At first they were used against the Spanish, but now, and this could be any town in the Netherlands, really. I'm sorry to break it to you, but so many smaller towns in the Netherlands look like this. I still think there are way too many cars in this environment, but oh well. I'm perhaps a bit too picky. I really haven't spoken much about my plans because I was just talking about what I saw on the screen. But like what Billy said, a number of college professors come to the Netherlands every year with students. And next week I'm going to speak to students from Philadelphia. There are always students from Platteville, Wisconsin, who come every year. Different students, of course, but the same professor. And I also speak to the students of Northeastern University, Professor Firth. And it's nice because I've been doing this a bit longer than you, John. And some of these students are now working in the field. And I hear that there's actually change in the streets that, well, we all helped a little bit to get here. So that's really nice. So, and of course, I'm just going to keep on making my videos. So that's my plans for this year.
Yeah, that's great. And I see that Preston has joined us once again. Hey, Preston, did you want to say anything about what you're working on these days?
John, I appreciate it. No, I just wanted to jump on and say hi to Jason. I'll see you later this week.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Jordan. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, fantastic.
Jordan,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
All righty. That's great. Yeah, it's, I've had this discussion several times, and Preston knows my opinion on this, and Jordan does too. The Mueller neighborhood is just, I think, one of the best North American examples of a redevelopment from the ground up of a community that really embraces walkable and bikeable places. And if you wanted to see sort of an intact example of what happens when you build all ages and abilities cycle network from the ground up, it's no better place to go right now for that. Now, that being said, it's not perfect. That being said, you can tell the difference, when you're traveling in that area and you go from like the very early stages of the community development and how it changed, and how towards the end, now that it's, essentially built out, I think they're, pretty much at like 99% built out at this point in time. You can really tell the difference in terms of the quality of infrastructure, the protected and separated bike lanes that are there. So that's one of the reasons why I want to get Jordan's, to chime in from his perspective of, how they're handling a lot of the sustainability stuff. Billy, be good to have you on camera too, talking a little bit about that from a resiliency perspective as well. But I think it's just so cool. And Preston and I were there present on the very first day of school for the middle school that was in that that community there to document the kids walking and biking to school. I mean, what better way? I mean, if there's a litmus test, it's just that. Can all ages and abilities get to their meaningful destinations, without having to get into a car?
Yeah, and they've also integrated green infrastructure in such a powerful way. There's water kind of surrounding the areas, and then that water will fill up if there's a huge amount of rain, but the rest of the time there's a beautiful trail around it. So you end up with a lot of these sort of sustainability or resilience features woven into the community, and they really do help to create, John, active towns. That's the sort of theme, is that you can put lots of these different pieces together that serve multiple purposes. And when you think about it from the start, you really can create something really valuable and exciting for people.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
The
other
it's
thing,
great to have examples of like suburban places that function like for life on foot or on two wheels, because that's so much of the world, so much of North America is suburban, is going to continue becoming more suburban. I think one of my big takeaways from our trip to the Netherlands was just how much of the Netherlands was kind of suburban. Like we saw a lot of new developments, but it was still like, it was still bikeable, right? It was still like human speed. So
yeah, that's great. Yay, we have a new person on camera, Megan Reamy. Yay. Megan, why don't you introduce yourself? Where are you joining us from?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm joining from Hood River, and I just had to chime in and take a break from spackling my daughter's walls. So nice to see you, Chris, and Kathy. Well, Kathy's gone now, but I wanted to just say happy birthday, John, and I really appreciate all of you've done to, for me personally. It's been a huge deal to the Hood River community to uplift this Safe Routes to School work that I'm doing. And just that I really appreciate all the guests you've had on, and just this multiplier effect that we have in the advocacy community. So thank you.
You are quite welcome. And folks, if you're not familiar with Megan's work, she's doing some amazing things there with Safe Routes to School in the Hood River, Oregon area. We've also, in addition to our two podcast episodes that we've done together, we also did a fabulous ride in Boulder, Colorado with Professor Wes Marshall, author of the book Killed by a Traffic Engineer. From your perspective, Megan, what was that experience like riding around with Wes?
I think it needs to happen much more often than it does. Like pairing an engineer with somebody who teaches kids how to bike and advocates for the infrastructure is it should be a routine thing that happens every month between engineers and the people who actually work with the kids. And I get to see him actually in 2 days impromptu because I'm going to be at the bike summit. I am completely blown away. And if anybody knows who can help me sleuth this, but I was nominated to receive Educator of the Year from the League of American Cyclists. And I'm just dumbfounded. So anybody who knows who did that honor for me, I really would appreciate it. But now I find myself having to put together like a 60-second acceptance speech, and I'm just like a little floored.
Megan, the only surprise there is that it's of the year and not of the decade, first of all. You've been doing this for so long. I'll be there too, so hopefully we can say hello.
Oh, I finally get to meet you in person, Doug. Yay.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. That's fantastic. Let's see. Anybody? I had mentioned I was going to put you on the spot and ask if you had any favorite videos. While you're thinking about that, I'm gonna press go on one of my favorite videos, which is of Amanda getting her brand new bike. Earlier this past year, in the summertime, she had one of her very first Dutch bike got stolen, and so she needed to replace her bike. And so she's like, we were meeting up and chatting, and she's like, you know what, I need to go get a new bike. And I said, well, let's walk over and get a new bike. So her puppy was with us, and we walked over and got a new bike and got the bike, and then we went out. And Amanda's out in the chat right now, and she's like, "Thank you so much. It was so much fun getting out there and riding." And I told her earlier today via WhatsApp, because she lives right there near Vondelpark in Amsterdam, that her video is rocketing to the top on my feed. So it's getting close to 15,000 views already, which is pretty darn good for my little channel. So good stuff. Any other favorite memories from the past from you guys? Or we can just watch the Amsterdam and pretend that it's a summertime already.
I'll share one of just hanging out in Velocity with you, and Grant was there, so that was a ton of fun. Obviously, Mark and Chris were there too. So just that was great to see sort of what goes into your thought process of like approaching a city. So it was just really fun to be there. Hope we get another chance.
Yeah, and John, when we were in Paris and we took off for a ride, and we kind of randomly found this school street, and it was just kind of a revelation how the school streets are just sort of embedded in the landscape, when we were really just doing something else, and sort of found it. And I just love sort of watching cities change and finding those elements, and then you do such a good job of sort of telling those stories about how those pieces fit together.
Yeah, and this is that video right here, and we're kind of talking a little bit about that process, and it was really amazing. And thanks, shout out to Mark Kramer. He's out watching right now on the live stream and out there commenting on that. But yeah, we had some great moments in this, and I'm going to fast forward to the actual School Street area here on this video. Again, one of my all-time favorite videos ever is this, because it really is special. And we had a couple of we had both Mark and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on this gentleman's name, but we were able to like really see what this was like, and really quite special. Here's one of these school streets here. Billy, why don't you take up the narration from this point in terms of from your perspective, from a resiliency perspective, why is this special?
Well, if you see the pavement color changes, so the pavement color is much lighter, and the intent is to focus on heat, so you don't end up with as much heat island effect. You also see the green there that's incorporated. And what's interesting is this model is replicated over and over again. You also saw like a kid's play area, little small items that they work with the neighborhood kids on creating games in the street. But the model itself is very replicable. And so that's why you see, I think there are 200 or 300 of these popping up in Paris. And to me, that's what's exciting, is you've taken something that's about dealing with heat, and climate change, but you've turned it into an amenity that kids love to play in, and that then it really becomes a neighborhood amenity. And when you do this when one of them is great, but 200 or 300 is transformative. And to me, that's the story that we got from being out on the bicycle that day in Paris.
Yeah. It's good stuff too. And I went back and filmed it, the next day, and be able to get a sense as to what it was like on the weekends, or I think that was a Saturday, and then I filmed it again on a Sunday morning, and it was really super cool to see how it's an extension of space. It's an extension of the indoor school experience. Now it's like they're neighborhood park. And so from an active mobility perspective and from a play perspective, it's so cool to see friendly places for kids to be able to, be able to go and really experience that. Too many times, we see our school playgrounds and parks, etc., are like no-go zones, for the general public. So it's great to see that transformation in what used to be just, car sewer space.
Right, exactly. And to me, it also speaks to like the Netherlands and sort of the low traffic neighborhood concept that comes out of the Netherlands. It's really the same thing with maybe just a little bit of update on the side. And I see so much potential for residential areas and traffic calming. To me, that's politically where you have some opportunity to play, because nobody, literally, nobody wants high-speed traffic through their neighborhoods. And there's a lot of potential to rethink those streets and to provide places for kids, safe places for kids.
Yeah, yeah. And Megan, you and I were, talking a little bit about this and how it's so important when we were at the Safe Routes Partnership Conference recently in Fort Collins, Colorado, and it's absolutely crucial that we give kids these safer places. Public spaces should be safe for kids to be able to get around, to be able to enjoy their lives and not feel like it's a no-go zone out in our public spaces.
Yeah, I feel like the Anxious Generation book that was published recently is just like a perfect marriage for our school street movement, and that yeah, kids needs a place where they can just check out their brains and talk to their classmates before and after school. And likewise, it becomes like a sort of church and congregation for parents, as like a third place for, as it should be, for them to talk to each other. And I don't know, it just fosters and it takes a village atmosphere.
Yeah. Well said. Well, I'm going to play another one of my favorite videos, which was when I got Clarence and Mark together out on a bike there at the Velocity
I was going to mention that one. Yeah, that was fun.
For me, Mark and Clarence and, to some extent, Jason with Not Just Bikes. I mean, Mark and Clarence, for all of you who don't know, I mean, they were just instrumental in supporting me. And, because I'm this health promotion guy, older guy, obviously, at 60 years old today. And again, happy birthday to Doug, for those that don't know, that are out there watching. It's your birthday today, too. Is that, I was shifting gears. This is a career shift for me to be able to figure out how to do this level of storytelling, in this type of platform. So again, thank you so much, Mark, for all your support, and Clarence, you as well. I know you've got some things going on with your kid right now, but hopefully you're watching this after the fact. So again, thank you so much for all your support.
Yeah, this was especially fun behind the screens, really. Because what people can't see, you were cycling and you were doing we had 2 microphones or 3 with you included, and you were cycling and filming backwards. So just seeing that was fun for us, for Clarence and me. So this was really special, yeah. And we've cycled in 3 countries together, in the Netherlands, in Germany in 2 cities, in Leipzig and in Berlin, and of course here in Ghent in Belgium.
Yeah.
And it's always fun. So, but this was a special, exceptional, because we were 3 and in the middle of the city. It was busy and people really had to go out of the way when we all 3 came. But it was fun and it went well. So no accidents happened that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to give special props to John's skills on this. He is like just a marvel at filming and biking at the same time. Same as you and Jonathan Mouse rival each other. It's a humbling thing to watch.
Yeah, and of course, Jonathan.
Now, he was cycling backwards here. It was so strange.
Well, I wasn't cycling backwards, but I was pointing the camera backwards.
Well, you pointed the other way. Yeah. This is not my first language, please.
You're doing great. You're Mark. You've heard me say this before, but your English is way better than my Dutch, so we're good. Yeah, no, that's great.
Better
Well, hey,
than
we're
my
coming.
English too, so.
Yeah. We're coming up to the hour mark here, so we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. So if anybody has any final questions you want to get in before we hang up here, get it into the chat, and I'll keep an eye on that. And again, thank you so much for everybody who is tuning in. I know that seeing just from the names popping up here, there's folks from literally all around the world who are tuning in to watch this. So any final words from the panel at this point?
I have a question for you, John.
Go for it.
Who's a guest you've never been able to get? Who's your dream guest you've never been able to get? Maybe you haven't even reached out to this person, but if you could, who is your dream guest?
Same as you.
Who? Pete Buttigieg?
Yeah.
He's
Secretary
not our
Pete.
number one, but I'm curious.
Oh, really?
Your number one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have Pete on.
He's up there. But yes.
Yeah, no, I'd love to have Pete on. I just saw him on TV. He delivers himself so well, very, very articulate. Yeah, I think he'd be a great interview. Yeah, for sure. If I had to do another one, it would be Yen Gale. So, yeah, Jan is also getting up there. The whole reason why I pushed through to get that last interview that I did with Professor Donald Shoup was I just had a feeling like I needed to circle back around to him and get him on camera, because the first time I interviewed him, it was audio only. And so much of what we talk about in this world is visual in nature, which is the reason why I made that shift over to the video platform. And so I wanted to reach out to him. And he was just, the great thing about, Don was that he was just so giving, and he had a hard time saying no. And Tony Jordan, who was the episode that I released this week, who knew Don quite well, said, yeah, that was one of the things that, that it was the nature of his character was that he was so giving. And I wanted to get that interview in, and I did. We got it done just before Christmas, and then the episode was the first episode of season 9 on January 10th. And then, of course, we lost him before the end of the month. So it was, very, very special to have that happen. So, yeah. And, oh, by the way, and Jeff Wood just says happy birthday, and it was a great one, Jeff. What better way to do this? And of course, Jeff is with the overhead wire, and such a great service out there. Any other final thoughts, guys? I'm keeping an eye on the chat right over here too. So,
John, I was just going to say that keeping with the Velocity theme, I really enjoyed. And I think I told you after this, the panel that you organized with Doug and Melissa and others. I think it was just a really thoughtful and Mark, a thoughtful, constructive conversation about the state of storytelling and urbanism in 2024. Because as we know, and we can see from the panel we have here, it still can be quite pale, stale, and male, and you do, I think, better than most a job to invite a diversity of guests and voices and perspectives, and we all need to keep that in mind. And the only thing that kills me is that conversation wasn't recorded, because I really wish that more could have heard it. But that was easily my favorite session at Velocity last year, and something I will carry with me for years to come.
Yeah. The irony of that is that, the panel with all the content creators did a panel and none of us decided to record it. There is a recording. Somebody recorded the whole thing on their iPhone. I remember vividly that happening. I can't remember who it was, but yeah. Several of you were in the audience as well as on the panel. So yeah, that's good stuff. Well, guys, hey, we have to bring this to a close at some point in time, and what better time than now? Again, thank you so much to everybody out there watching and in the chat. I think I didn't miss any of the questions. Again, really do appreciate everybody tuning in each week, and to all of you who have were so crazy enough to come on and help me out. And and keep an eye out for all my adventures, because this is what I'm going to be doing this summer. The podcast will be on hiatus for the 3-month time as I am out traveling around North America with my Brompton. And again, folks, if you didn't see the graphic from earlier, that's the detail. There's the revenue right there. Really can't emphasize enough that if I'm going to continue to do all this stuff, I do need support from all of you out there. So I've got several of you on screen right now are patrons and help me out, and thank you so very much. And thank you all so very much for joining me here today to celebrate my birthday, Doug's too, and the 5-year anniversary of the Active Towns channel on YouTube. Thank you.
Happy birthday, John and Doug.
Happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday.
Thanks for throwing this
Happy
together.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Great to see
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you. And again, once again, thank you all so much for tuning in, and Yos and everybody else, Preston, who were on camera for a little bit but had to get off, and Kathy as well. Thank you all so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.